Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, our card tonight is the Eight of Wands, which has everything to do with swiftness. I like this card. It looks all electrical and rainbow-y. I like the prism, and it is a beautiful card indeed. So, we have a lot going on, right? Something is in the works. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. It is free to subscribe. All right, so immediately I'm looking at this and I see we have this kind of satyr figure, which is half human, half goat, kind of like Pan, right? So we have this kind of wild energy, the foresty, ecstatic, can kind of get a little dark, right? A little bit on the brink of absolute chaos and completely uninhibited. So it's a fine balance. It's a fine balance. Now we also have some animals over here kind of sitting and watching. And it looks like we have a person, maybe just the body. I almost wanted the head's like way up here. But I think we're missing part of the body here too. So I'm filling in the gaps in my mind. And so it feels like kind of this chase, and it does feel kind of maybe romantic, maybe an intense attraction, desire. And I feel like it's exciting. It's like, okay, somebody's, really interested in me. They're paying a lot of attention to me, and I think that you enjoy it, but maybe this is not your person. Maybe it's not your primary relationship, but maybe you're single. Maybe you're open, or, whatever. It doesn't matter. No judgment. But I do think that there's this sense of you like the attention. You like kind of somebody having their gaze kind of towards you, or at least this person in particular, not just any old person, right? But I do think that there's a sense of almost kind of, I think you have the instinct to flee. And that's all I can think. Like, it just run away. And they're trying to kind of, woo you, but it's almost like they're trying to coerce you, right? And I think this is kind of where we've changed in our thinking a little bit, that we don't continue after somebody if they've said no, right? It used to be that, oh, don't give up, keep going for it. They'll say yes sometime. I don't think we live in that world anymore. At least I hope not, right? I don't know. I've been out of the dating game for quite a while, but I do think that this is a situation where you have to make a decision, because I think you have to be pretty clear with this person, especially if you're in a committed relationship already. I think this is like the type of person that if you flirt with them a little bit, it's going to go, it just absolutely, they have no chill, as one might say, right? So I think it's important to be clear. I also think it's important to be safe, Okay, you never know with people anymore. I mean, ever, really, right? But you should be making sure that somebody knows about this, okay? Especially if you feel uncomfortable, if they are, calling, texting a lot, if they are not minding your boundaries, showing up where you work or your home or anything like that. Please take care of yourself. Be safe. Follow your instincts, please. And it's not just women, men as well. Men as well, and every other identifier. We all have to be careful. Okay, we have to watch our backs. We need to take care of each other. We need people to check in with. Okay, so if anything seems to be, a little weird or makes you feel like, you're unsafe, please, 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 please let somebody know. It's better to be safe than sorry, okay? And ultimately, I try not to watch the news or anything like that, but, as I've said on here before, I do watch true crimes, so... and I try to do minimal because then I start seeing the world in a way that I don't want to. But we must be so careful with who we let into our lives, into our sacred spaces, and to have access to us. Here's something that I didn't learn until I was older, right? Like in my late 30s, which I'm in my late 30s. Maybe my mid 30s is when I learned this, but not everybody should have access to us. It is not our duty to allow people into our lives whenever they want. It is not our duty or our responsibility to give up information about ourselves if we don't want to. And again, this is for all people, right? Some of us are later learners than others. And I myself, it took a lot of therapy to get to that point where I had to learn. And then I had a kid, okay? When I had my kid, during that thing where we had to stay home, right? I learned, I'm just saying no. If I don't want, I'm saying no if I have to, if I feel any type of way, I'm saying no. And I've learned in these last years, and I've come into I really feel like a place of power, being more discerning about who is in my personal life. It really, it changes everything. The people that you have close to you. If it is your family, your chosen family, your friends group, whoever it is, or nobody, that's valid as well. It's important that we are very clear with ourselves about who we want around, who we want to know things about us, and here I am. I talk a lot about myself on this channel, but I feel like a lot of people don't. There are people who listen to it, obviously, but also, I don't know. I don't think anybody I know in real life really watches this. So I don't know, but I am, what though? I am getting to know a lot of you. And I have made some good friends on here. So, but yeah, being choosy about the people that are hanging around. Okay, so we also have a cat. We have a cat and we have a dove right here, okay? So I'm looking at this, and this looks like an angry, frightened cat. It reminds me of a painting I just saw the other day, and I forget who the artist was, but it was something like cats on the roof during the full moon. I mean, it was like a very clunky title, but it was like 3 cats up on the roof during a full moon, and they were all kind of, looked like they were about to battle each other. And so, I feel like there's this sense of feeling a little bit of frazzled, maybe having some anxiety. Maybe there's some decisions that are being made. Yeah, we have that 8 of Wands, so that this is a time where it is important to kind of swiftly go with intuition, but also, informed decision making. And I think that being able to kind of make a clear decision to devote yourself to a way, this is going to, that dove, right? This spirit release of this kind of tightly wound heart. If you can imagine, and there is such a relief once we just decide and we've committed ourselves to a certain path, at least for a while. Okay. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about this or not. I haven't talked to my husband too much about it, but we have some big life changes coming up. We're going to have a new studio soon and stuff like that. So we've been toiling with, the decisions that we have to make. And it's nice to just finally be like, okay, we're going to do this thing. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a little hectic for a couple months, but we're going to do it. We're going to do the thing. And there's that release of a lot of the anxieties. I mean, there are other sub anxieties, but ultimately, you have committed to yourself. You're resolved to this way. And so I think it's important for you to, whatever it is that's going on, and I think as I'm saying this, I'm looking and it's like we have a heart right here. We have, it looks like a ring, like a marriage ring, a wedding ring. We have, this one looks like people who are maybe like hiking or traversing something, kind of going on a journey. Over here we have, it looks like a baby cradle over here. So basically what I'm getting at is I'm looking at this, it's like every kind of life change. I'm like, I don't know which one is which. Or maybe it's all of them, you could be like my husband and I. We dated long distance. We met. We got pregnant as soon as we moved in. Got married. Started a business. All these things very quickly. And and sometimes you do. Sometimes it all just happens at once, and it's like, I don't even remember what my life was like before them, honestly. So, it could be that. It could be that there are different things happening for different people that are listening here today. But I do think that there's just really a sense of finding the place that just making that choice, finding the way that you are going to go. And I already, I believe that you've already known. It's just kind of saying it out loud for the first time. Finally being like, this is what I'm doing. I've known that I've wanted to do this, but finally I'm going to, really put myself to it. And this is where I am going with it all. And we have a W and a W, okay, up here. So some kind of W name, maybe. Double W. I can't say that. When I do those tongue twister type things, like, it will affect my speech for the rest of the whole, night. Somebody, oh my gosh, somebody in the comments was Well, you know, if you've watched my readings, I'm pretty loose with my interpretation of words. I don't use them for, you know, they're probably intended purposes usually. Sometimes I will take a little liberty with you know, how I apply words to whatever I'm talking about. And sometimes I'll just use the wrong word and I'm just going to go with it. But yeah, somebody's like, oh, excellent dictation. Bravo. I'm like, that has to be sarcastic because I know myself. I mispronounce things. I absolutely stumble over my words. I forget words. I can't find my words. I misuse words. So I thought that was kind of funny. People are ridiculous. I mean, I'm ridiculous as well, so that's okay. Game recognized game. Okay, so, yeah, up here, interesting. We have a person who's kind of running this way. And they have a wheelbarrow right here. Here we go. And then we have two other people over here. So I feel like, yeah, there is kind of this movement of the ground, right? Moving around the soils. And I feel like it's like almost a sense of, it feels urgent. Like you are you're reforming the landscape of your life to some degree. And I wonder if it's like, are you taking another job? Is this going to move you? Are you thinking about moving? I almost wonder too if it's like maybe like a parent needs to move in with you, or maybe they are at that part of their life where you and they are thinking about going into some kind of like assisted living, or, you know, I don't know, but something, it feels hard. It's a bittersweet kind of decision to make, you know. And with a parent, it's like you want them to be safe. You want them to be taken care of, at least, you know, their basic needs met, and then you can be there for them as well. At the same time, if they don't want to go to a place like that, or whatever, you know, or maybe you won't be able to see them as often, or whatever it is, that could be hard, right? So it could be something like that, where it's something that kind of needs to happen on some level. There's not a lot of other good options, but you kind of, you know, you're feeling the immense pressure to get to that place where, yeah, you have to make a decision. But I think that when you do, there will be relief, okay? I think definitely a sense of relief for you. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to switch over. We're going to come over here and let's take a look. Okay, so we have an arrow. We have an arrow. We have a goddess. So, I feel like I feel like this was a hard one, because I even was kind of feeling this before I started the reading. when I was getting myself grounded, I started to have kind of these, it was like a kind of visual, but kind of also a repeating of like a younger girl, maybe, I don't know, maybe in her young middle teen years, and kind of obscured, kind of obscured, but in a place that felt kind of like they were looking over, and saying, like, why don't you look at us anymore? And she was saying us, us, us. Why don't you look at us anymore? Why don't you, why don't you like think about, and this is what it was felt like in my mind. Why don't you think about us anymore? Why don't you think about us anymore? And I'm looking at this and I see we have there's a little moth. Okay, we have the goddess. We have, it feels like just a sorrow here. This one feels really difficult. It feels like a loss of somebody that was young, or maybe multiple people who are young. And I feel like it's been many years, and it's not so much that you don't think of them, but maybe not every single day anymore. And maybe you go weeks or months and you realize, my goodness, I haven't thought about that in a while. I haven't thought about them. I haven't, and I think that in some way you feel guilty about that. But I don't ever feel like, and see, here's the thing, is that I don't ever feel like those who have transcended lament us not being involved with them, as we would if they were manifest in their corporeal body. I think that I think that they come and they visit us, and they, sometimes they have messages that are difficult. But I think really what I am hearing, what I was feeling here, is a sense of your own kind of guilt about this thing that, I think it just was such a big part of your life. And maybe these were your peers, or this was maybe a friend or a sibling or something. And I feel like for a long time you felt like you had to kind of carry their story and tell everybody you ever got to know, kind of bring this up. And as you've gotten older and life has happened, and you maybe save this for the people who really truly matter to you. It's not something that you give so freely, but not because there's shame or anything like that in it. But I think it's part of the grief, We get to a point where, this is part of our story, but not everybody has to know our story, right? So, it's interesting. It's interesting to me because on the other side of it, I keep getting this feeling of really green ferns growing all over the side of like a hill next to a home, maybe up into kind of like a hillside, into maybe like woods or something. And I feel like it's very vibrant, And I don't know what it is exactly, but I feel like it's almost kind of this idea that where you feel like maybe you've lost your connection to the degree that you always promised yourself that you would keep. Right there in this instant, I will always keep you right there. I will never stop thinking about you. I will never not be in so much pain I can barely live. And yet somehow you find a way to go on. And that can feel survivor's guilt, right? But the thing is that there's this feeling of, I am more alive than you are. I am in so many things. I am in all aspects of your life. I'm here with you. I'm with you. And so, in some ways, if you are comfortable, I really do. I encourage you to write a letter to this person, these people. I encourage you to commune with them. It doesn't have to feel like you're doing some kind of mediumship or anything like that, but to talk to them. Just talk to them. Say what you're afraid to say. Cry. Let it out. Let it out. I promise you, the dead do not hold anything against us. Especially the ones that are beloved. They are our kin. Okay, let's see. I didn't mean for that to go to that place. But it's good. These things, they come up and I was thinking, I don't know if I should talk about this, but I have to. Because it really, sometimes it gets uncomfortable. But it needs to be said. Okay, we have the divine doors. Okay, let's see what door we're going to walk through tonight. All right, this one's very, very ornate. Okay, it says freedom flows. Don't hold yourself back from worldly freedom. Dream grand things for divine, sacred reason. Okay, dream grand things. Yes. Okay. Libra, I'm going to go ahead and start with saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. Sometimes I'm a little behind, and I am a little behind right now. I've been reading them. I just need to go through it, answer some, and heart them all. And it's the life of a sickie. My goodness, our household is just one thing after another. These young kids, they have lots of germs. My immune system is getting better. Last year was terrible. This year it's been not the greatest, but we were more prepared. I would read about people. Oh, my kids bring home stuff all the time. I don't feel good. Constantly we get over one thing and then it's the next thing. And so we've been on supplements and vitamins and trying to eat things that really promote better gut health and our immune systems and whatever. So I think that's really helped a lot. And some of the things I've learned from you all here. So I appreciate the input, definitely. So, yeah, I think that's it. All right, Libra, I love you. And we will talk in just a few days from now. Take care of yourself and good night. I'm going to bed.